Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Well, we're rapidly approaching the 1,000 day anniversary of when I first prayed to the God of Peter Dislikes. And I really mean it when I say it's a prayer. It's kind of funny how it became a prayer. What had happened was I was very upset about getting a lot of Peter Dislikes on my videos. And I thought I could neutralize the anger that I was feeling about this by asking for dislikes, because if I got dislikes, I'd be excited to see them. And so I asked people to show your support by disliking this video, and it has kind of morphed into a prayer of some sort. And so lately, I sing Peter Dislike to pray about just about everything. But I want to talk about the most notable Peter Dislike prayers and the most successes that I've ever had from them in the last 2.5 years. I first started my bismuth art career in September of 2022, and I quickly got consumed by it. I would come home from work on a Friday afternoon and start working on it, and before I knew it, it was Sunday, and I had no idea where Saturday went. I was just so hungover from doing it. And one weekend, I was having a lot of bad luck. You know, it happens. I've had losing streaks, I've had winning streaks, I've had everything in between, and I was having a lot of bad luck. And I had almost nothing to show for that whole weekend. And I asked the God of dislikes to give me just one good pour so that I can feel like I had something to show for it. You gotta understand, economists call this the sunk cost fallacy. You've already spent so much time doing this, you got nothing to show for it, I gotta get something out of it. And so I melted about 15 pounds of bismuth into this large stainless steel pot, and I got up to dance and sing Peter Dislike, Peter Dislike, Peter Dislike over and over and over again. And so I kind of got lucky. The phone had rang, and I got a little bit distracted. And I left the pot on a little bit. I think what happened was I didn't heat it up past the melting point of bismuth long enough. I had taken a phone call, and when I got back to the container, I probably had a better temperature as a result. Long story short, I ended up pouring about a 6 or 7 pound bismuth geode with crystals, like spider web crystals in between. And I still have it. I nicknamed the piece of a Putin dirty bomb because Vladimir Putin uh, likes to poison his spies with polonium-210, and polonium is now made from bismuth. And I came up with this idea of how we could execute Putin with that bomb. What would happen is you could launch that geode into outer space and have some way of concentrating the background neutron radiation onto the crystal, activated into bismuth 210, which decays into polonium 210, and you could drop it on the Kremlin. Right, that was my thought. But that was one of my most successful Peter Dislike prayers. Now, at the end of 2023, I had a lot of turbulence in my life. I was lost, I was confused, and if that wasn't bad enough, I teach at the Maricopa Community Colleges. We had a lot of uncertainty with the funding there. And this came at a time when I was already burnt out at work. I had no social life, and I was just confused. And we had a holiday party, and I went there to jump on. We had this uh, uh, castle, this air castle, to jump up and down, going, Peter Dislike Show, the Peter Dislike Show. And so after not long after I came home from the party, I got the contract for the next semester, and so it was all good. I went to go see a solar eclipse in April of 2024, and I went to Kerrville, Texas, and unfortunately, it was so cloudy. Everybody was praying. They weren't praying Peter Dislike, though. They were praying to whatever God they believed. I was praying Peter Dislike. And so at first, I couldn't convince anybody that that was a good prayer. But when the other prayers didn't work, and I told them about the Putin dirty bombs and the contracts that I got the previous year, they all decided it was worth a shot. And we all stood there going, the Peter Dislike Show, the Peter Dislike Show. And just as totality came in, some of the clouds disappeared, and that was good. I was in Taiwan just a few months ago for my grandmother's funeral, and while I was in Taiwan, For some reason that I still cannot fully comprehend, I decided to reactivate an online dating profile that I hadn't used in many, many, many years. And when I logged on, I was aghast at what I had written all those years ago. I used to have all sorts of different hobbies that I don't really align with these days, right? I had I was also considerably overweight. I had eating disorder problems. In fact, I even boasted about my eating disorder. I bragged that I ate 150 bananas in one sitting one time. I was aghast at what I wrote all those years ago. I had to delete it all and start all over again. And then I sang Peter Dislike a couple of times. And before I knew it, I matched with somebody on there, but I had such bad luck over the past year. I wasn't sure if she was not going to show, if it was a fake profile, and so I asked all my roommates at the hostel that I was staying at to pray with me, and we all prayed Peter Dislike. Now, one of the guys staying there was from Germany, and he didn't speak very good English. And it almost seems like the Peter Dislike show was literally the first words that he ever learned to say. And he even prayed with me when he heard about my and he barely understood what I was saying about the bismuth crystals, about the contract at work, about the solar eclipses and all that. But he still prayed with me, and a bunch of others prayed with me as well. And sure enough, I got to see her. And in fact, we just talked this morning about me potentially seeing her again at the there's a I'm likely gonna go to an AI conference in September, and she opened up about her past dating experiences too. So it's all good. And then I come home from Taiwan, and I met a girl in Houston, and we didn't hit the sparks or anything. But I'm so glad that we're still chatting. And a lot of Peter Dislike prayers have gone into that as well. Uh, I hope to go back to the Computer Olympia this year. I've been on a hiatus for some time, in large part because of my return to the dating scene, and I've been praying heavily to the God of Dislikes as of late. I also need to pray to the God of Dislikes for the price of bismuth to come back to Earth, right, or even below Earth, right? If it would, I would so much like for bismuth to go below zero altogether, right? Just like oil a few years ago. Oh, then I'll have a fun time, right? Then it'll just be all profit, right? And funny thing is that Putin Dirty Bomb, I tried to sell it at the last art show. Had the guy bought it, he would have already been up just on melting it down right now, right? But he didn't like it for some reason, right? This guy took immense interest in it and haggled the price and everything. And had he just bought it back then, he would have already been up today. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.